So you can swear all you want.
The pre-show live part.
Yeah, the pre-show
The
live.
pre-roll.
Right.
Can
exactly.
I swear in Spanish or do that?
See?
I can swear in Farsi a little bit.
That's pretty cool.
I know a few things in French from my hockey playing days.
For my girlfriend, if she's watching, Gazambor. And by the way, that's not a swear. That's actually pliers. Don't ask how I know that.
All right. Well, I wasn't going to mention it then.
Okay. Okay, the site is updated. Okay.
Oh, there I am.
Okay. All right, that's working. All right.
Site's updated. Facebook is alive and kicking.
All right. YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube's kicking.
All right.
And embedded on the site.
Outstanding. We've been doing this 11 years. Eventually, we're going to figure this out.
Oh, you've been podcasting for 11 years?
Podcasting and webcasting.
Live streaming.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, we were doing it before people even know they could do it.
We didn't know we could do it.
Well, and we didn't when we started. So you have to look at episode 1 and go, what the hell are these guys doing?
It really
But
started
that's
as...
the best part. They
yeah.
appreciate it. Yeah, when your fans
Yeah.
appreciate you at that beginner level.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
we were influenced by Click and Clack, the Car Talk show from way back in the day on NPR.
Yeah, that was the original concept, and we've changed it around a few times. I mean, we've tried a few experimental things. Some of them work, and there was the great studio tour we did 1 month. That was
not so great.
It was a bit of a disaster.
It was a disaster. Yeah.
But we decided that I mean, we do the show live because all you people who are watching live right now as we're warming up.
We thank you first of all.
Thank you a whole lot.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, because it's the live interaction that really makes the show work so well.
Right. Yeah.
But a majority of people watch the replay.
Yeah.
So they can watch it whenever they want, not at our whim.
Right.
And but we do get a lot of there's a lot of audience here.
Oh, good.
Somebody just gave me a thumbs up. So okay, let me get back into this chat.
Okay, so the site's ready. I'm in the rundown. I'm pinning Jeff's post.
Okay.
He's pinned. And I think we're in pretty good shape here.
Good. All right. 2 items. One, we run a cold open. So it'll be the 3 of us on screen. George and I will say, hey, we're here. It's Voiceover Body Shop. And we'll say our guest tonight is Christina Castaneda. And you can wave and say hi. And we're going to talk a little, briefly about what we're going to talk about. Tell people you can ask your own questions, that sort of thing. And then we will go to the intro. And when we get to the intro, we'll introduce you directly. And then we'll get into our questions. And then the thing I continuously forget to tell people. Week after week after week, is when we're done at the top of the hour, when we go into the last break, we say thank you for being with us. You can go, unless you want to hang out. Otherwise, you're going to be sitting there staring into the camera going, can I go? What can I do now?
Yeah, there is a chat, so we can communicate there, but some people don't realize that. We now realize that you use StreamYard, so you're familiar with the chat.
Yeah.
But the chat is how we would...
It helps a lot.
Yes.
Yeah. I probably do have to leave closer to 6-ish. So
we'll get you out of here
there's
by
a few
about
things.
5:02.
Yeah.
You will
So.
be clear on time.
Yeah, I have to wrap up one more thing with another actor. Hopefully send him some stuff to join us. And then I got to go get my nails done. Sorry, fellas. Not that I wouldn't want to.
Priorities. Here.
At least you didn't say you have to go wash your hair.
Right.
No.
That's,
we would have taken
no.
that a little more personal.
No, but I have I also do some, I'm a dancer. So I also do I have to, anyway.
There's zhuzhing
I
involved.
perform. Yeah, I have to maintain things. So, and I do photo shoots every now and then too. So I have to make sure all that is. That's okay. I write it off. I like it.
I love
Not
it.
a lot of women get to do that, so it's great.
That is correct.
Do what you love. Figure out the money later, and then you can write everything off. That's the key.
Yeah, exactly. So,
'Tis the season.
But I did
Sue
make
writing
it
stuff.
late just to be here today. So,
Oh,
you know,
well, we
of course.
truly appreciate that.
Can't pass up podcasting.
Right. Okay, so it's recording automatically, right, Sue? Just give me a thumbs up. Okay, all right. Good.
So everyone knows about my nails thing.
Well, the people who are watching now, the people who might be watching in 5 minutes from now, are like, what is she talking about? All right.
Where we're going to get tips on nails?
Yeah.
VOBS and beauty.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever done beauty tips. I mean, we've done the
Clearly.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, you have natural beauty. Let's look at it that way.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, no, we do not use makeup here. So it's like, all right, head's a little shiny, just move the headphones a little farther forward. And
Yeah, headphones hide a lot of problems.
Yeah.
I have to say.
Get the dulling spray. All right, we are
Guess
down
we're ready
to
to go.
1 minute here.
Wow, I can't believe we pulled that off. We did a location shoot, got a package cut, and all on time for our usual start time.
Yeah. All righty.
Gotta love it.
That's good. Yay. I know it's hard every single
18.
episode getting things out.
Well, I mean, we used to do a lot more location stuff and a lot more packages, and obviously just everything changed. And so
Yeah.
we're just kind of trying to warm back up into like, hey, we can go out
And do this
and talk to
again,
people and
Yeah.
interview and be on location.
which is much more fun. Well, not
Oh,
of course,
yeah.
Of course, we haven't been in the same studio together for a long time.
No, this is
either.
our first time in the same room in quite a while, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
We used to work together in this room in front of a big green screen, and tonight I'm actually loving just the radio backdrop. I think it's working out. I think it's nice.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
All
quite
right,
proud of
Sue,
it.
should we start? I think Sue wants our attention.
Okay.
Here we go.
All right, she is counting us down.
5,
4,
4.
3. Hey, guess what? It's time for Voiceover Body Shop. And our guest tonight is the lovely Christina Castaneda, who's going to talk to us about audio drama. Hi, Christina.
Hello, fellas.
Great to have you with us. We're going to talk about audio drama, and this is a great way for voice actors to do more voice acting. All right. George is in front of all my radios.
Boom! Check it out. We're in the same space.
Yeah, for
If I
once.
reach my arm far enough.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
there
look
it
at
is.
that.
His hand is right there. All righty. If you've got questions for Christina or for George and I about tech, throw it in the chat room. Jeff Holman is in there, and we will get those questions to her. And it's time to roll. Time for Voiceover Body Shop right now.
From the outer reaches, they came, bearing the knowledge of what it takes to properly record your voiceover audio. And together, from the center of the VO universe, they bring it to you now. George Whittam, the engineer to the VO stars, a Virginia Tech grad with the skills to build, set up, and maintain the professional VO studios of the biggest names in VO today. And you, Dan Leonard, the voiceover home studio master, a professional voice talent with the knowledge and experience to help you create a professional sounding home VO studio. And each week, they allow you into their world, bringing you talks with the biggest names in the voiceover world today, letting you ask your questions, and giving you the latest information to make the most of your voiceover business. Welcome to Voiceover Body Shop.
Voiceover Body Shop is brought to you by VoiceOverEssentials.com, home of Harlan Hogan signature products. Source Elements, remote studio connections for everyone. VoiceActorWebsites.com, where your VO website isn't a pain in the butt. VOHeroes.com, become a hero to your clients with award-winning voiceover training. JMC Demos, when quality matters. And VoiceOver Extra, your daily resource for VO success.
And now, live to drive from their super secret clubhouse and studio in Sherman Oaks, California. Here are the guys.
Well, hello there. I'm Dan Leonard,
And I'm George Whittam.
and this is Voiceover
Body Shop.
or VO
BS.
BS.
In sync.
In
'cause
sync,
we're
yeah,
in
in
the
sync
same
because we're in
room.
the same room, which helps a whole lot when you don't
Yeah.
have the internet interfering with all that. But anyway, welcome to our show. We're here to talk about voiceover, and we've got some interesting stuff to talk about tonight. An interesting weekend I had because we finally got invited to go to a friend's house in Oxnard.
You were invited to go play at a friend's house?
We were invited to go play at a friend's house. Now,
Oh, isn't
here's
that
the thing. I had this sudden weird observation that, there are people, you're hanging out with people who look like your parents because you forget that you're as old as they are. It's like, well, this is weird, and he's mixing up martinis. I'm like, wow,
My dad used. Wait a minute.
So,
Wait a minute.
yeah, it's fun to go hang out at a friend's beach house.
Yes.
Been waiting for 7 years to do that here in LA, and finally
We're trying to meet new friends with beach houses.
Yeah,
So we're working it.
That's the thing you should
We're
be
working
doing.
it.
Anyway, we're going to talk about audio drama tonight, and to help us with that is somebody who does an awful lot of this. Christina Castaneda is a writer and producer of the Savvy Creative podcast, which features award-winning audio fiction with magic, romance, and dark thrillers, fully produced by indie writers and creative talent. They also celebrate indie authors, screenwriters, playwrights, and creatives who produce and publish their stories. We're going to talk about the scope of what's available out there and how you, voice actor people, want to try it yourself or get involved. So let's welcome Christina Castaneda. Hi there. Welcome to Voiceover Body Shop.
Hello, fellas. Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure. Great having you. Now I'll lead this off by saying you found me on LinkedIn. Not a place that I hang out a whole lot, but there was an ad there, and you and I you hired me to do one of your dramas, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, technically, you found me. I put out
Okay.
the ad, and you applied to me. Actually,
Okay,
no, it's not
all right.
it's not a contest,
I was
but
going
I
to say,
did.
I was shocked to hear that Dan was doing advertising and doing it on LinkedIn.
In LinkedIn,
So I was
yeah.
like, oh, this is new. No,
Yeah, I
that's
put
great.
out ads to my followers. I've just put out now casting, put out a form, then put out applications on LinkedIn, which I rarely ever go on LinkedIn because I feel like it's like Facebook but with resumes, so I just like stay away. And and I got a lot of applications. LinkedIn, I got 50, and then I got a lot on Instagram as well. And I just wanted someone with experience with a wide range. And we were on a crunch and on a deadline. And Dan, you replied within minutes. Like I was really shocked. And yeah, we just started working together.
Yeah, just happened to be there. And timing is everything.
Yes.
Yes.
And as we say, when the opportunity presents itself, you gotta deliver, and that's the most important.
Luck
thing.
favors the prepared.
Absolutely. So let's talk about audio drama. This thing has been around for a long time. I mean, before television. I mean, all right, let's go back. It goes around to the campfire. Where you've got storytelling and somebody's going to be, and he came down the path. Anyway. But it's a little bit different now on the internet, isn't it? And so we get the opportunity to do what used to be this great art form on the radio. And, what got you into it?
So I had been in podcasting for years, not just for my own podcast, but professionally as well. I did three live podcasts a week for Beachbody when I was working in the fitness business. Yeah, 2 in English, 1 in Spanish. And it went on every week. And we did it for 2 years, every Monday. And it was exhausting. And it was all like personal development, interview style. And although it was fun and it gave me a good background in broadcasting, it just wasn't enough for me. And I was a writer at the time. I was a struggling novelist who just like couldn't put a novel together, or just like it could never get through the second or third draft. And I wasn't being taken seriously as a writer at that point. Like I just couldn't get into the writers groups or anything. And so during the pandemic, I started reading my stories on my podcast, just little short stories, little narrations. And then I started posting videos as well. And my following just started to grow and my downloads started to grow. And then I met Chris Gregory of the Alternative Stories and Fake Realities podcast. And he is a major producer of audio drama on his own indie channel in the UK. And he asked me to do voice work. And I thought, I've always been behind the mic or behind the camera. Why would I be the talent? I'm just having fun here. And I did my first voiceover with his podcast that he did. And it was the very beginning of the shutdown, I'd say April 2020. And he asked me to do more. He asked to work with me and for me to write a piece for him. And I actually learned a lot from him. And the UK is where a lot of this is so popular. Like they have the Archers, they have like a lot of network audio dramas. And, in the US, like you said, it's old school. There was The Shadow and Dick Tracy and like the very, very like mystery noir shows.
Yeah.
But the more I started working with Chris and I started following his stories, I realized that, oh my God, what have I been missing my whole life? Like, this is the form of podcasting I want to do. So I started getting involved with more groups. I realized that horror writers, fantasy, sci-fi are super big into this genre, which makes sense because you can do like the, pew pew and monster sounds and stuff. You can do so much with it, just with a simple script. And from that point on, I decided to just start reading my writing again on the podcast. And this time during the shutdown, when we were in LA, it was when the riots were happening and it was so close to my home. And I could hear because there was stuff happening on Venice Boulevard. So I could hear things going on. And I just started writing like this really dark story. And because that's just what we were all feeling. We were all feeling the anxiety when it first happened. And then the story just evolved into like this dystopian type of story. And then I needed an actor to come in, and then I needed a director to come in because I thought, I'm not going to do a male voice. I don't think I could pull that off. And plus I need help. Like I knew I wanted to grow it at that point. So a friend of mine who's a director, a filmmaker came in, and then another friend of mine started helping me as well. And then Chris Gregory with his help, it started growing. Our fans, I thought that they would be like put off because I was doing interview style shows. But it wasn't. They actually really liked it. They were excited about it. We started hyping it up on social. I started growing. The downloads were actually double than what we were getting before. And I thought, oh my God, I have to like continue this. And I finally got back into writing and loving my writing again. It wasn't like a book where I wanted to throw my computer at the wall and where like the editing process was so brutal when you edit a novel. But when you edit a script, it's fast, like notes need to come in fast and things need to get out fast.
Right.
Like I have to send sides to another actor right now. And I'm just like, like which scene am I going to choose? How am I going to, what am I going to do? And it's that part of that run fast and break things kind of creative development that I really like being a part of, just from my background in tech. So I just thought, wow, this is such a fit. I get to do two things I love, writing and podcasting. I get to be on the production side of things, which I already had that background in from working in the fitness industry and doing all those productions. And it was just when Chris actually introduced me to so many cool people. And then I started joining all the groups and started, finding the fans. And I was like, this is a really loving community. Like, this is a really fun community. And they are just so creative and expressive. They take chances, they really push the limits differently that you can't do in Hollywood or you can't do on a major network. And they are like all backgrounds, all ages, all races. It's really cool. And I also realized that I said, okay, how many are for Latinos? How many are for the Latino audience? Because they have radio novelas, but it's pure Spanish, or like, it's super dramatic, like a regular telenovela.
Right.
And then I just thought, we're not taking advantage enough of this. So why don't I create something for us, because I don't see enough of it right now. And I started finding more actors. I started finding more talent. And it's just growing from there. And now people are asking me, hey, what are you doing? Because for a filmmaker, things are so tough for them to get their stuff made versus an audio drama. it does cost money, but it doesn't cost as much as you think. And if you manage it well, and if you manage your time well, like you can still make something pretty good, or you can make a few episodes. You can make something an hour long, which I don't recommend. We did that and that was a disaster, but you can make something 15 minutes long. Yeah, an hour long heavy file with sound effects and all these different takes. Oh my God, like we were in tears at that one. And I said, I will never write a long script again. Like 15 pages is my cutoff.
Long is like, we think of audiobooks as long, and clearly, like, there's this dividing line between audiobooks and audio drama. You mentioned it a little bit ago, which was you're no longer having a man kind of doing a lady's voice or throwing to be a woman, or as vice versa. That just doesn't, in audio drama, realism.
Yeah.
It's
immersive. Yeah.
It's immersive. With an audiobook, it's one voice and it's continuous, and you kind of get lost in the story. It's a different experience. This is a whole different thing, but you can enjoy them both equally. That's what's interesting about it.
Yeah, and there's nothing better than when a listener either DMs you or writes in and says, "Oh my God, I cried at my desk at work. I felt like crying," or "I laughed out loud," or "I was driving and it totally was scared." Like I had one episode where there's a crash at the end, and they're like, "I was not expecting that," or killing a rattlesnake, and they were like, "Oh my God!" And I love that. I love being able to make people jump and react. I mean, that's kind of what we do as writers. We kind of love to torch you just a bit,
Yeah.
So
and George brings up a good point. This is, we have a lot of people, a lot of our viewers who are audiobook narrators. This would be a whole new way for them to, to be even more creative and be part of an ensemble, as opposed to just, making yourself the ensemble, which we know some people who are very, very good at that. But I would think that they would also be fabulous at doing this type of work, because this is when, if I'm doing an audiobook, it's like, it would be a lot more fun if there was music, if there were sound effects, the more of the kind of stuff that, that I'm used to doing as a producer.
I know audiobook seems kind of restrictive, doesn't it?
It is.
When you have all
Yeah.
that production background. Yeah.
Yeah, when I was doing novels, I thought, oh, I want to add this like music into it. How could I let the reader hear it? And then when I came into audio drama, I was like, oh, duh, this is like I was meant to do this. But with audiobooks, it's also the like the dialogue tags, like he said, she said, I said, because you're still like narrating it, and it like to me, it was always hard to read things like that as well. So because I've done some narration too as well. As part of my voiceover journey. And that was really a huge change for me. And I said, I'm going back to reading scripts. I don't think I could narrate. But the great thing is that we react to each other, and you never know what the actor brings. And that's what's really fun. When we were doing The Last Magician, the actor who played the magician, the bad magician, he just delivered something that I was not expecting. And he just made his character so sleazy and despicable, which was amazing. And we were reacting to it, and it was actually one of our best scenes, at least in my opinion. And we used it to promote on social later. So it was, I actually just really love that part of that creative process. Yeah. You discover so much. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun just doing it, because, a lot of us came out of theater and it's like, well, I get to do it again. But all I need is my microphone and the right room, as George and I will tell you. Once again, we'll remind you, if you're just joining us, our guest is Christina Castaneda. She is a writer and producer of audio drama and has a podcast called The Savvy Creative. And check it out. It'd be a lot of fun.
I was going to say, you have a good sounding environment, actually. Like, you're using a condenser mic, clearly.
Yes,
and
I
not
am.
everybody can get a good sound out of a condenser mic unless they've spent some effort
Well,
dealing with their space. So what are you doing over there?
my daughter she just finished LA Film School. And in audio engineering. And I can't tell you how many times she scolds me, like, Mom.
Oh, you're lucky.
She goes, Mom, did you learn your lesson about echo? I was like, yeah, that Crumple Pop app is awesome. And she goes, no, Mom, not the lesson. You need to adjust your mic. You need to do this.
Right.
And she scolds me all the time because she knows that if I don't get it right, then she's going to have to help me fix it. Just like, I feel like that parent who's always like, kids, I need your help with this. So she actually told me, how to put a limiter on, she actually bought me a podcast kit for Christmas because she was so sick of me messing.
Wow.
And she's like, here, Mom, don't mess up this time. And she's into music, but she actually was the first sound designer that we had. I mean, for the sake of our relationship, she's not my sound designer anymore. But the fact that the episode that she worked on was the one that got the award, it was a good for her portfolio. And it actually helped her get into the music industry business. But she's the one that helped me set up. And then, of course, my son, he's also a gamer YouTuber. So he helped me with a lot of equipment as well.
Wow.
So, yeah. And I say you
that's
can
how
do
you grow
chores.
kids.
You
That's
can
why
do
you grow
chores and you can
kids.
help my podcast.
You need
That-
consultants in the house.
Yeah, that's why I tell my kids, you can do chores or you can help Mama with her podcast. And so they're like, oh, how bad is it, Mom? Maybe we'll do dishes. So,
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Could work out both ways. It's a win-win for you.
exactly.
They
I'm
either
a
want to
single-
help you with the podcast or they
I'm
got
a
to do
single
the
mom
dishes.
too, so a single mom's got to make it work. Yeah,
That's right. Yeah, if you've got a question for Christina about audio drama and the stuff that we're talking about tonight, throw it in the chat room. Jeff Holman is sitting in there writing it down personally on a pad and then transferring it to
calligraphy.
into calligraphy.
and then scanning the calligraphy.
yeah, and turning it into cuneiform, and
Yeah.
then
That's
then
so fancy.
I know. Well, we're a very sophisticated outfit. What can I say? But if you got a question, throw it in there right now. We'll get into it in the next segment. Who's listening to this stuff? I mean, you must be talking to your fans, and what are they telling you, and who are they?
I'm shocked that the fans are so much younger. I thought, like, what would they want with a 41-year-old, like who likes to play around with magic? But you got to remember the generation, the millennials and Gen Zers, they grew up with Harry Potter. The Gen Zers absolutely love, they're the ones that you definitely can probably get some good recruiting if you want staff or if you want people to get on board with your project, because they grew up with YouTube. YouTubers are also doing this as well. Like, because YouTubers, are they going to go into film? They probably could because they got the cameras and they got the audience. But some of them did go into audio drama, like Markiplier. If your kids watch YouTube, you've probably seen him obnoxiously gaming. But he has his own network audio drama as well. So a lot of the Gen Zers are going into this. So I would, don't rule them out because they are definitely listening to it. Gamers also, and gamers are all ages too. And I'm not just talking video gamers. I'm talking like the people who play Dungeons and Dragons.
The RPG people.
Yes,
Yeah.
RPG people love audio dramas. And when I go to these watering holes, what I like to call them, like Discord or the Facebook groups where they're hanging out, because that's where I get a lot of tips on how to do sound effects and a lot of tips on, like, when I mess up and I have a question, where to find actors. That's where I meet a lot of fans who are just like super hardcore. And they love the monsters, and some of them are game masters and dungeon masters. Like, I didn't even really know what all that was. But that's where, like, a lot of the hardcore fans are. So you got to look in those worlds, especially if you're going to do a fantasy or a monster-based horror type of script. Like, go find the gamers, because they will be some of your big fans. And when I was younger, my sister was a Trekkie, like a hardcore Trekkie. And I would go to conventions with her. And, my mom like made her like a little Star Trek uniform, because my mom was a really good seamstress. And I would just walk around, and it was my first time seeing a convention where people were super hardcore into something. And I just thought, I hope one day that I can write something or put something together that would make people like literally dress up to the T. Talk about characters with so much detail, to the fact where, like, I don't even know how the authors keep track of it. Now I have my own system to keep track of the world building, but the way that they were so obsessed and like it's almost like they felt like these characters were real. I thought, I want to be able to create that one day. And you got to look for people, stories that have fans like that, because most likely they're going to be able to, like, join into your story. So, like, using things like magic and fantasy and mythical creatures and, heroes, superheroes, all that stuff, using those kind of tropes will help you build that. So
How are you finding your talent these days? What is talent? I should say
Apparently-
besides
talent.
LinkedIn,
Aside from LinkedIn, yeah.
Well, definitely, this is LA. I mean, if you know your filmmaker, your director, they're usually going to connect you. And what I say is like, look, I need someone I can work with. I need someone who's good on a long day. I need someone who's actually going to read the script before they show up. I want a native Spanish speaker. Please don't be someone who's just going to come in and just say they're going to do an accent. Like, I want you to be an actual native Spanish speaker. No Peggy Hill high school Spanish, please. I want, I was looking for, you have no idea how much that happens. I was looking for a comedian. So I would go and network with as many comedians, because a lot of comedians podcast. So I was able to find some in the podcasting world. So, and you just want to make sure that their voice is different from the other main characters, because that's the hardest part. They can be super, super qualified, but if their voice is too similar, it's not going to work. Or unless they could do, impersonations or something, then it might work. But you have to be super flexible there. So I use my network of connections first, and then and it's really hard to find people who are available at the time that you want to shoot and record. So there's also that. And finding a Spanish-speaking actor, I think, was probably really, really tough, because I wanted to find somebody that was like local to LA and all that stuff. And so I think it's also a matter of being flexible as well, because you don't know. The work ethic is most important to me. Like, are you going to show up? Are you going to have a good attitude? Or am I going to have to send you home and just pay you out for the day, which has definitely happened before. So, and yeah, I'm very quick to do that as well. So I think, and also being, when people say that, like, they've heard my podcast before, or they follow me on social media already and they're already engaging and they're already a fan of our work, then I am a little bit more likely to listen to their reel, or to just hear them out a little bit, or give them put them to the front of the line when I'm looking through reels as well. And also, there's so many things I look for. Do they have good branding on their site? Do they have are things broken on their links broken on their site? Is what they do clear, what they offer clear? And are their reels playing? Because I've even been on sites where I couldn't even access someone's reel. And that was that's a problem as well. So I want to make sure like all deliverables are tight and wrapped and and good
Have
too
your
as
act
well.
Together, everybody.
Right.
Well,
Together.
yeah, also, when people are very responsive, that's also a good sign as well. So those would probably be the most. And I will peep your socials too as well. I'm going to look at how you answer comments. I'm going to look at if you have legit fans. I'm going to look at if you have haters, which wouldn't even scare me. I actually think you might be saying something, or you might be saying your opinions, which is also it wouldn't be a deal breaker for me if you had some haters in the comments or anything. But I do look at how you interact with fans, because most likely my fans are going to go over to you and interact with you. So I want to make sure that, you're answering comments, or you don't have a lot of bots and spam and stuff. I do check that as well. So.
Interesting to know. Once again, if you've got a question for Christina about audio drama and how to produce this stuff, throw it in the chat room. We will get to it in just a little bit. What are the most important things new indie creators should know if they want to create their own audio drama? I mean, here's a fabulous opportunity for voice actors. People, that George and I know, who actually know how to hit record and make it sound like, the way it's supposed to sound. What do people need to know to get this going, aside from the audio stuff?
Aside from the audio, how to find fans, how to make so when you're doing a film, and this was also a very interesting thing that I noticed with the filmmakers and the audio drama, you look at a script and you're kind of hearing it, not really seeing it. You know what I mean? Like, you have to, instead of camera angles, you're looking at sound effects to replace camera angles and things like that. So right. You kind of have to train your mind and train your ears a little bit differently. It's really a crazy thing. Your ears will even hallucinate sound effects for you. But a good way to get started, honestly, it's you got to have that rock star team. And some people, like friends, could join you. Like my close friend who's the director, she's the one that helped me out and she joined me. And you got to really, really be open to tightening up that story. And you got to really, really super believe in your story, because there are so many moments when you're putting that story together and the actor's bringing something different. If you're working with the director, they're going to bring something different. The sound effects may not work the way you planned. It's like baking a cake, it may come out the way you want, or it may not. And you kind of have to be able to almost lead yourself through this process, because there's so many moments of imposter syndrome. There's so many moments of like, this is not going to work. This is not going to work. And you're freaking out it always happens right before you hit publish too. You're just like, it doesn't sound the way I want. I want to change this. And you're like, no, I have to get the episode out. But you're really struggling a lot in your mind if you're doing this all yourself. So you really got to get a good team of people you can trust, of people who tell you the truth and just say like, look, there's a big plot hole here. You really got to fix that. Or that just does not sound, it sounds like nails on a chalkboard, does not sound cool at all. Right. And you have to really have that moving forward. And then it doesn't take a lot to produce it. It's actually, if you're overwhelmed by like how much it's going to cost to pay the actors, pay this, you can negotiate, you can talk to people, you can figure out you can always work things out. If you really believe in your story and you really want to get it out. With me, I knew The Last Magician, I knew Venice Magic Shop was going to be great. That's actually like one of my most favorite things I've done. And I knew like no matter what, I was going to be able to make this. I was going to find a way. I was going to find a way to pay everybody and to get the marketing out there, everything. You would think that people would just be on board to produce your story. Like, isn't it great? Like, a magic shop on the boardwalk and a magical talking cat. Who wouldn't love that, right?
Yeah.
Not a lot of people did like it. They turned me down a lot. And it's, sometimes you need more than money. You need like a really clear pitch. You need a really clear way of saying, hey, actors, join me on this. This would be fun. Like, do you really see this character? Do you really believe in the character? So you have to have all that very clear before you start reaching out to people as well, because that was a lesson I learned too, was like, oh, magical talking cat, not so interesting. Okay. All right. Well,
you have to have a little bit of a thick skin.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I mean, just like any business, but you like that was a hard lesson for me, that it was tough to get people on board. It was harder than it was the first time. And I wasn't anticipating that as much. So I was like, okay, I need to build a strong team. And I need to have a better plan. I need to have more assets ready, like sending the scripts and sending character sketches and everything. Like everything had to be solid and sent out. And just, the way I presented it had to be strong if I was going to get actors and the team together.
Yeah. Having a team is really important. I mean, we've learned that in video production. You can't do it yourself. I mean, you got to have an audio person. You got to have somebody who understands cinematography, somebody who knows lighting and scripting and the continuity and all those things. Otherwise, you're doing it all yourself, and it takes 10 times as long and generally isn't as good. So important to mention. Once again, if you've got a question for Christina Castaneda about audio drama and how you can get involved in it and what's involved, throw it in the chat room and we'll get to her in those questions just a little bit. So we were talking a little bit earlier about tech, but again, not about audio tech, but what are some of the things that people need to understand in order to get this product out there?
Product out there on platforms or anywhere?
On platforms, yeah.
Well, I mean, getting it out there, like the best thing is like audio is definitely a lot more visual. If you want to go network, you have the option to try to pitch to the network, like Gimlet on Spotify or Q Code Media or Wondery or all those places. Because, like some of the big Hulu and Apple TV shows that you're seeing started off as audio drama podcasts or narrative podcasts as well. Also, I would be, I know I mentioned gaming earlier, like you want to look for the gamers, but you would definitely also want to be looking out for the future as far as, bringing your audio drama to VR, bringing your sound design skills to VR, to the metaverse, things like that, because a lot of our content consumption is moving in that direction. And soon, like, all of us just doing a podcast right here, we're going to be little avatars, talking, and everybody who is watching us, their little avatars are going to be in our audience. Comedians are already doing that in the Sandbox or wherever they're, hosting their metaverse. So that's definitely where it's headed. So if you can start learning that technology now, or you can just even go play in the sandbox for free for a little bit, create an avatar, if you want, and start getting into that world, you will see that, not only that's where we're headed, you can probably, it's going to help you stay a little bit more relevant than just, here's another episode, download it, here's another film in a film festival, right? If people see you regularly in the metaverse where they can interact with you, it's going to be a way for you to keep your show going, build your fans. And also it's cool that you can be able to just interact with them. They can buy, we have magic in our episodes, right? They can game and buy one of our magic products and keep gaming that way. So there's a whole future that your stories and your characters can live in this digital space. And it's so fascinating. Like, it's just really, really going to keep growing. So I would definitely go for the next step beyond podcasting, AR, VR, metaverse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we go, you said sandbox.
Go and play.
That means a lot of things. But is there a sandbox that you think of when you say the word sandbox? What do you
Sandbox
think
is digital land. It's land in the metaverse. It's a gaming platform. So Snoop Dogg has his own land there, where like he sells like his little doggy metaverse avatars. And
Wow.
And
Yeah.
his music blast there.
helps having
it's
kids
pretty
and
cool.
possibly grandkids too, I'm sure, because it keeps you wanting to be engaged with those generations.
Well, if my son didn't game so much, like, I wouldn't have known a lot about this. And if anyone has kids, they know about Minecraft and, oh my God, you know about
Roblox.
Minecraft. Yes,
Roblox.
all of that. So why not get into that? It's because a lot of people, like, it's just gonna keep going up. So you definitely want to be involved. And I've always been a geek for techie stuff like this. So, and I just think, well, podcasting, it's constantly growing. There's over 800,000 podcasts on Apple. So,
And growing.
yeah, and more. Well, a lot of them are inactive though, but
Yeah.
they're it's still really hard to keep growing there.
Yeah.
What's next? So, and how can I make these characters live without putting them on TV or selling it to Netflix, and then it just goes down a abyss of,
Yeah. Look at the savings on makeup alone. Anyway, we're talking with Christina Castaneda, and we're talking about audio drama. And again, you got a question, throw it in the chat room. But we're going to take a break right now, and we'll be right back with more of Christina and Voiceover Body Shop right after these messages.
Well, hello there. I bet you weren't expecting to hear some big-voiced announcer guy on your new orientation training for Snapchat, were you?
This is Virgin Radio. Well, okay, we're not that innocent.
There's jeans for wearing and there's jeans for working. Dickies, 'cause I ain't here to look pretty.
She's a champion of progressive values, a leader for California, and a voice for America.
It's smart. It's a phone. It's a smartphone. But it's so much more. The files are ready. Don't forget to pick up the eggs. What time is hockey practice? Check out this song.
It's the end of the road for Rick. It's just you and me, Rick. When hope is lost.
The i8 from BMW. Who said saving the planet couldn't be stylish?
Hey, it's J. Michael Collins. Bet you think I'm going to try and sell you a demo now, huh? I think they speak for themselves. But I will give you my email. It's jmichael@jmcvoiceover.com. Now, if Dan will stop waxing his mustache for a minute, we'll get back to the show.
And now a word from Harlan Hogan and VoiceOverEssentials.com. Has this ever happened to you? Embarrassing. The washers on these booms? They're not so great at holding up your expensive microphone. And here's the answer. The adjustable boom stop is great. Easy to attach and works like a charm. No more droopy mic. It's simple, ingenious, and infinitely adjustable. The padded non-slip pouch fits almost any size boom arm. Unique double-loop webbing system for unlimited angle of the downstrap. Works with tripod and solid round bases. Light gray webbing lets you mark and repeat stand settings for each performer. It's 3 ounces of protection for your expensive microphone with free standard shipping in the continental U.S. Hold up your mic with the ABS adjustable boom stop.
Hey there, I'm David H. Lawrence, the 17th, and with my company VO Heroes and my team of coaches and my community of voiceover talent, we guide voiceover actors along their journey. And you may be watching VOBS here and not nearly as far along as many of the other people who are watching. You may not even have started yet. And we actually specialize in helping you do just that. So if you're watching all the stuff going on here on VOBS and going, I have no idea what they're talking about, I don't know, but I really want to do this, I'd really like to help you. Please go to voheroes.com/start. That's voheroes.com/start. And you can take our Getting Started in Voiceover class, which tells you everything you need to get started as a voice talent. And I'd love to hold your hand along the way and help you with that journey. Again, voheroes.com/start. That's voheroes.com/start.
This is the Latin lover narrator from Jane the Virgin, Anthony Mendez, and you're enjoying Dan and George on The Voiceover Body Shop.
And we're back with Christina Castaneda, and we're talking about audio drama. Not an area that, we really talk a lot about, George.
No, we haven't.
This is something completely new. We've always been talking to people about, doing commercials and audiobooks and e-learning.
Animation,
all this stuff. This is another area that clearly is growing. So we're really thrilled to have you.
Based on the volume of questions we're getting, that obviously is true.
Right.
We got a lot of questions.
I'll let you take the first one.
All right, let's dig in. The first one in the queue comes from Daryl Nobles, and he says, "Greetings all. Question for Christina. I love audio drama. Where to get coaching for OTR, for the OTR resurgence?"
I think it means on the radio.
I guess that's what that stands
or
for.
Or on the road, depending on...
So I got to admit, I'm completely self-taught when it comes to the all of this. I'm pretty much running and doing this on my own and just pretty much learning acting from my director's notes and then trying online stuff like just to learn. And producing, I had that production experience from working actually like those long hours before. Where can you get coaching? Honestly, I would just say there's so many Discord and Facebook groups. There's a really great Discord group run by Julie Hoverson. They do table reads 2 times a week. So I just go just to practice. And I swear there's one guy who sounds just like Scooby-Doo. He his voice is so good and he does all these things. And I'm like, wow, people can do it's really wow, people can do this. And then Sarah Golding, she's in the UK. She runs also, she once in a while, her and I forget what the other guy's name is, but they host table reads as well. So just join an online table read for audio drama. They're out there. You just got to search in some of those groups, but Facebook and Discord, there's usually people doing it. I practice there all the time. Sometimes we do feedback on scripts and sometimes it's just for a little fun. And it's really interesting to see the way people interpret scripts and write scripts and everything. So yeah, definitely check those out.
All righty. Here's an interesting name, She Shed Critters from YouTube.
That's her YouTube name. She put her name elsewhere. I'll find it.
Oh, okay. All right. Then I know who this is. Hi, I'd love to hear Christina's tips on starting an audio drama group with college students. We have our own radio station, and this is the kind of work that'd be great. Would also love to know how to audition for you as well.
Oh my God. Honestly, Gen Zers, get them involved in this right now. They love, they're great for YouTube. They already have, most likely they've probably done their own YouTube videos. They know how to promote on social media too. They're great on social media. So get them involved as quickly as you can. Get the theater department, right? Because in audio drama, you get to have so much fun with monologues. You can't really do this in film. You can't really do this in a lot of other genres. There's still a fourth wall that you're kind of thinking of. It's just a bit different. I don't know what you would call it in audio drama, but you get to have fun with that. So get the theater team involved, find those actors, find the director from that department or the filmmaking department. You probably have great access to writers as well, English department, you got it all. And you can definitely build an entire strong team from there. And most likely, I think if you just search a few popular audio dramas from either their favorite YouTubers or favorite TikTokers or whoever's relevant to them, they'll be on board, I'm sure. You can actually build an awesome rock star team and get them fans for audio drama for life. That would be amazing. Yeah, get the Gen Zers. They're great.
Yeah. Now, how would someone audition for you? I mean, have you been auditioning people? I mean, you said you're looking at reels and stuff like that, but are you auditioning people for specific roles, or has it gotten to there yet?
Well, I do have a few open roles because we do have to shoot the next few episodes for Venice Magic Shop. What else? I have like a mean girl role if anyone wants to take on that. I do have a form link in my Instagram if you just want to add your information there to apply as well. I have, Google Forms are your best friend. So I put one there. Yeah, just click on my profile and you should see a form to submit whether you're a composer or a sound designer, tech, or actor.
Love it.
Yeah.
Terry Briscoe asks, hey, Christina, does everyone pretty much stick to the script, or is there a lot of improv going on as well?
It depends on the actor. I find it's always like one or two actors that will improv and some won't. I've only had that happen once in Venice Magic Shop. It was actually Dan who went off a little bit. And then I only had that happen one other time with The Last Magician where they did that as well. I kind of like to see if an actor's interpreting a character, I kind of like to see what they do or what they have to say. And if it works, it works. Cause I also remember Robin Williams used to improv all the time and it would work. So if you're good at it, then I'll kind of let it slide. But if we're getting carried away and we're off schedule, strict Capricorn me likes to be on schedule. So I will reel you back in and say, okay, next scene. But yeah, it depends on the actor. It depends on the scene, and it depends what we're doing and if it works.
It depends.
Yeah, it just depends. You got to be flexible when you do this, right?
Right. Well, you didn't stop it when I started doing it, so I figured I was doing the right thing. But.
It kind of worked a little bit now that I'm listening back. It kind of worked. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we'll just leave it there. Jeff Holman asks, how do you monetize this? Who buys this stuff?
Well, you monetize it like you monetize anything. You solve a problem for people and they buy it, right? You solve a problem, you help them. Entertainment or lack of entertainment could be a problem for people to solve. Sometimes they just don't want to pay a lot for it. My plan is I'm self-financing it through other investments that I have that are paying off very well right now. Sandbox. But it all depends on your business model, how fast you want to grow, what you want to pour money into. Do you want to make money for a better quality of life, or do you want to make money to grow and make more episodes? Like, you kind of have to decide that. And then I would say that's why I'm looking into gaming, because there's a lot of money to be made in gaming versus selling tiered prices on Patreon and, selling t-shirts. Like, I wouldn't do something with low profit margins. To me, it just doesn't seem to make much sense. So I'm going to hold out and try to build the gaming. But there's not one way to do it. People do sponsors, people do merch, people monetize chat rooms. Like, they do all kinds of things. So, I get Facebook bonuses and Instagram bonuses for posting reels. So, I mean, you never know. It depends on what problem you solve for people and what you're willing to how you're willing to do it. That's going to make money and reach the right people. So I would say the best thing to focus on is fans. Like, give your fans that love, and make a show that's uniquely for them. I don't care about awards anymore. I don't care about any of that. I just care about getting that email that says, you made me laugh out loud in the middle of the workday, or, oh my God, I was driving and I got scared and it just made me jump. Or we have one scene where this guy's like a fake prophet and he's doing this monologue and his voice is super strong and it just can make the walls shake. And I want people to be like, I believe, you want people to react and just love you. You got to focus on that first before you're really going to bring in a lot of money. You got to find the fans, find out what they want, solve a problem, entertain them, and then figure out, what can you offer that they'll pay for. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You get the question from Ann Grist.
Yes, Ann Grist. Hi. Christina, she says, remember me from Brian Rose's class?
Yes, from Nashville, Tennessee, and I remember you and your horses.
Hey, how does a voice actor get into an audio drama? I talked about this a bit. This is so exciting. P.S. You look gorgeous.
Thank you, Anne. It's good to see you. I think it was 2020 when we last when she took the course. So you have a good memory. And I hope you're still going on with your podcast. So yes, I co-taught a podcasting course with London Real for about 3 years. And we taught people how to launch a podcast, interview style podcast. And Anne is a very talented voiceover artist. Yes, she is. And I would say if you're going to get into audio drama, find the watering hole. Find where all the audio drama people that are losing their minds, going crazy like me, where we ask questions to each other, Facebook groups, Discord chats, go to those table reads and follow them on social media, engage in their comments, and get on their radar. So that way, when you go and try to audition, they kind of know that you're a fan or they know that you like their work and stuff. And then a lot of these, Sarah Golding, who I mentioned before, she has a newsletter called Fiction Podcast Weekly, and they list auditions as well. And I know I am buying some ads in there when I launch Venice Magic Shop. So you definitely want to be like, where the inside information is. And she's a great resource for that. It's the Fiction Podcast Weekly newsletter. She's really great with a lot of everything all about audio drama. And I learned so much from her. But yeah, Chris Gregory, who I mentioned earlier, who's the one I've learned everything from as well. I've learned so much from him. He has sometimes open calls for actors as well. And a lot of producers or people who are indie and creating like us will sometimes put posts for open calls. So just keep an eye out for that. But yeah, go to the watering hole, go where they are. Sometimes we go on those voice platforms, but not very much, like Voice Bunny or 123 Voice Crafters or whatever. We just get so much spam. So we tend to stay off of those. So if you're paying for those platforms, that might be something to think about. You probably would be good just engaging with your favorite podcasts. So
excellent.
Thank you for that note. We need more people to say that.
Yeah, really.
That those are a waste
we
of
get
your money and time.
Spam. Oh, really? You guys pay? I thought we paid.
No. We tell people to stop using those platforms.
Got off of those like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Anyway, George has a question here, so I'm going to ask it since it was my turn. Says, have you ventured into spatial audio, such as Atmos mixers? So in other words, lots of, the adding audio dimension to your
sort of VR for audio.
Yeah.
No, actually, I haven't. I barely do my own sound design, which I'm getting better at. But no, I haven't ventured in there. No, but I will check that out.
Sounds like you need some help.
Oh, well, I'm new to it too. I heard a Q Code Media podcast I heard about it through something, and they were like, you should take a listen to what this sounds like, and the sound design was amazing, absolutely amazing. But that's a whole nother level of complexity that you don't want to get into that unless someone lands in your lap who says, this is what I do, and I love what you do, and I want to do this for you. Otherwise, it's a beast. It is a beast.
Yeah. You'd be surprised the production quality that you can churn out. It's better than you often think. Yeah. But yeah, I will say Gimlet, same thing. I'm like, wow, how do they do this? It's like watching a video on your phone versus a big screen camera, big screen movie. So yes.
Yeah, there's nothing to it. if you know, piece of cake.
Yeah.
Douglas Voice Guy, you get this one.
Okay. Details without naming names, obviously. What are some of the things that you sent people home for? Because I might have missed this. But was there anything that, just, I guess it's a cautionary tale, just how to be prepared and be great on your sound set.
It had nothing to do with the sound. It was purely attitude. The complaining from the beginning was a bit of a red flag. And, it's such a long day when you do a shoot, and especially you're straining your voice too. So, it's tiring for everybody, because we had like an 8-hour day. And even though he wasn't even going to be there the whole 8 hours, you get on, you're complaining. Then you tell me you haven't even read the script. You don't even know anything about your character. You're the reason why we have to do multiple takes, because you're not prepared. We have a 3-take rule that we started back with The Last Magician. And it's like, come prepared. And it was slowing up our day. And then just disrespectful to me and to I felt like he was just being an overall problem. And I was like, I don't care how talented you are, go home. And I said, you know what? we're good for the day. Your work is done here. I'll pay you out. Thank you. Good luck. Goodbye. And I just want to let you know, like, you cannot be disrespectful. I don't care how good you are. You will not be disrespectful to anybody, because I'm responsible for everybody's work environment too, as well. And I want you to come back. I want you to enjoy what you do. And I want you to focus on your character, what you came here for. Any kind of tension that makes everything weird is just awful. So yeah, the work ethic is super important, and the work attitude. So
he had a part 2, and that was, how are the recordings actually set up? Are these are online, or do you always have people come physically into the studio? And what more can you tell us about gear, equipment,
a little bit of
software?
both, right?
So if I see that you have good sound quality, then we can do it online through Clean Feed or whatever we're going to use to record. But we do it together. If someone only has a few lines, or and they just can't make it, and they need to record remotely, then we can. But I do love it when people come into the studio, because first off, we get content, we get stuff for social media. I get to meet them. I order tacos and catering. It's a great day. It's fun. We go to Burbank. I get to, with The Last Magician, it helped a lot to look each other in the eyes. And plus, when you have a lot of physical action, like we had a killing scene, stabbing, choking, things like that. Wonderful stuff, right? So it helped to really be in that room. Now, if you're just doing a few lines and it's not an action intensive climactic scene, then yeah, probably you can do it remotely. But I also just love to be able to have stuff that we can post on Instagram, have stuff that we can post on TikTok, so we can promote as well. So it depends on the role. It depends on the actor. So
Thank you.
So yeah.
Well, Christina, I'm so excited that we had you on. We had great audience participation tonight, and this is a fascinating subject. If they want to get a hold of you, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Christina with 2 A's, Castaneda. You can also check me out, Apple, Spotify, the Savvy Creative Podcast. We have The Last Magician, and coming soon is Venice Magic Shop, starring Dan Leonard as well. And you can hear all of our actors and talents. You will get to hear, it's our first time doing magical creatures like mermaids and other fun creatures as well. So we'll be launching that very, very soon. So check us out, Apple, Spotify, iTunes, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight. This has been fabulous, and it's been a great education for our viewers everywhere. So good luck with that, and we will see you again very soon.
All right. Thank you for having me, guys. Welcome.
Thank you.
Bye,
All
everybody.
right. All right. Well, George and I will be right back and wrap things up. Get ready for Tech Talk right after this.
This is Bill Ratner, and you're enjoying Voiceover Body Shop with Dan Leonard and George Whittam. VOBS.TV.
In these modern times, every business needs a website. When you need a website for your voice acting business, there's only one place to go. Like the name says, voiceactorwebsites.com. Their experience in this niche webmaster market gives them the ability to quickly and easily get you from concept to live online in a much shorter time. When you contact voiceactorwebsites.com, their team of experts and designers really get to know you and what your needs are. They work with you to highlight what you do. Then they create an easily navigable website for your potential clients to get the big picture of who you are and how your voice is the one for them. Plus, VoiceActorWebsites.com has other great resources, like their practice script library and other resources to help your voiceover career flourish. Don't try it yourself. Go with the pros. VoiceActorWebsites.com, where your VO website shouldn't be a pain in the you-know-what.
Hi, this is Bill Farmer, and you are watching Voiceover Body Shop. It's great.
Did it by itself.
Hey, that's okay. That was the spot for Source Connect. I'm sure everybody on the show has seen and heard me talk about Source Connect enough times by now. But if you check out Source Elements if you'd like to get a demo of Source Connect and start using it today.
And I'll start to use this. my razor blade. Anyway.
That's funny.
All righty. Well, another hour has gone by. Now, that was interesting.
I know. I keep thinking, we've talked to everybody in VoiceOver. We've talked to no. There's a whole other thing, and it's a whole new thing that it's a genre of interest, and it's gaining this momentum. And if you're not paying attention, it might pass you by, and you could be the next big thing.
Right.
In that genre of voiceover. So
yeah, I was able to jump into it. It was a lot of fun.
I didn't know anything about Sandbox. Boy, I'm really feeling my age.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And then there's Discord, which my son Jacob is.
I do actually make use of Discord for a couple things, but the Sandbox VR, this is a physical thing. You physically go to a location. There's one in Woodland Hills. And you strap it on with your friends and you actually play in this virtual sandbox together. I knew nothing about it. So you better believe I'm going to be trying this.
I think this might be something we could have fun with.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's see here. Next week on this very show, which we're about to do, if you want to hang out live while we do it, because you can be interactive with it, is Tech Talk number 78. Believe it or don't.
That's right. It's coming.
Yeah. And then the following week, well, the missus and I are heading to France for 10 days. So, so we can't do a show for a couple of weeks. But, this is Tech Talk 78. This is episode 228 of VoiceOver Body Shop. So if you missed something somewhere over the past 5-6 years, you can go back and find it. It's all there on our website and on the Facebook page. Just go back and, that looks like an interesting topic or somebody interesting they talk to. Go check it out. So plus we're also going to be running an interview we did today, which is we're going to talk a little bit about on Tech Talk. So that'll be really cool. Who are our donors of the week?
Well, we've got several, but I'm going to take my opportunity.
You've got a coupon. You got a coupon code.
I finally made a coupon code for VOBS viewers. So if you've been on the fence about doing a tech support session with George the Tech, myself, now I'm offering you a discount, finally. You can use this coupon for your next service, and you will get 20% off whatever your next booking is, and that counts for webinars that we do live and any bookings that you do through the website. Booked, scheduled services. It doesn't work on the stacks and sound checks. It's technical. It's annoying. Sorry. But it works on the other stuff. So anyway, try that out. VOBS Fan 2022 is the coupon code. Thanks, Dan.
Okay, right. Oh, and by the way, we'll be back live with our next show on May 23rd.
May 23rd. Got
May 23rd. Okay, make sure you're here for
putting that in my calendar.
Okay,
right
good.
now. No.
Who are our donors of the week? Well, we'll start off with Robert Leadham,
Stephen Chandler,
Casey Clack,
Jonathan Grant,
Thomas Pinto,
Shelley Avellino,
Patty Gibbons,
Rob Ryder,
Greg Thomas,
a Dr. Voice,
Antland Productions. Thank you, Uncle Roy.
Yes, sir. And Martha Kahn, our buddy.
All righty. Hey, join our mailing list. That way you know what's going on. Because I got to send out more stuff on the mailing list. And you'll see who our next guest is and what we're doing. And if there's any special announcements, we'll throw it on there. We also need to thank our amazing sponsors, Harlan Hogan's Voiceover Essentials,
VoiceOver Extra,
Source Elements,
VOHeroes.com,
VoiceActorWebsites.com, and JMC Demos. Our thanks to Jeff Holman in the chat room getting all those questions to us.
Thank you.
Sue Merlino, another spectacular job at directing this show.
Thank you.
Through all this craziness. And, of course, Lee Penny for just being Lee Penny. I mean, what does he need to be doing other than be himself? Well, that's going to do it for this segment of Voiceover Body Shop. Again, stay tuned for Tech Talk if you're watching live, because that's where the fun is. But it's not an easy business. We're here to help you out with all the ins and outs of the voiceover business, whether it be with other talents that are showing what they're doing and how it's done, or if it has to do with technical, this is the place to come. Mm-hmm. In the meantime, the bottom line is, if it sounds good,
it is good.
I'm Dan Leonard.
And I'm George Whittam.
And this is Voiceover
Body Shop,
or VOBS. See you in a little bit.
Lens is dirty. I don't know why.
Would you like a lens cleaning?
A real one? A real lens cloth?
Yes, a real lens cloth.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, the air gets pretty polluted in here from just me talking.
No, but this is working out really well.
Good. But now you're way out of focus.
Yeah, I knew that was going to happen. I'll fix it.
You want me to fix it?
If you can do it more easily, yeah. Very touchy focus, isn't it?
It is. Can I get a solid picture of George?
Go to a single on me. See?
No, that's me.
The other guy.
There we go.
The other way. Oh. Back the other way. There you go. Closer. Closer. Good.
Getting closer, I'll be
good.
Okay. That looks good. All
right.
right.
Looks a lot better now. Thank you.
You're quite welcome.
All right.
Nice shirt, by the way.
It's a little snug.
Which is why you're slouching right now.
Ay.
Okay, let's rack it up for Tech Talk. And what are we going to talk about tonight? We'll figure out something. Okay.
Hold on a second. What is Sue saying? So if Dan is not on camera, let's see. Oh, if Dan is not on the camera, then you don't hear George at all. So she can't do a solo of me. I have to do a solo shot, but Dan can't chat when that happens.
Okay. Did I say something?
Okay. Well,
right.
So is there a problem, Sue? Or are we good? Thumbs up. Should we do anything differently? She's typing. You can talk, Sue. We're not really.
Yeah, really.
This is between shows. We're doing a new thing tonight where my laptop is running StreamYard, and I have a camera plugged into it.
All right.
So what do we have to do, Dan? Different?
Here's the deal. When you were doing Source Connect, no one could hear you.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I just threw the bumper on. So.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So what I have to do, which I didn't realize, that your audio is connected through Dan's connection.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what I have to do is just do the solo shot, not the camera shot.
But keep me engaged.
I can't remove Dan. I have to keep Dan in it, but I can just hit the solo shot. So anyway.
Okay.
Hi, folks.
That's a little.
Bye.
But at least you found a workaround because we couldn't figure that out a while ago. Right. So.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. We'll fly in. We'll have to have Dan fly in my spot from this second half.
Okay.
Right. I can just mute my mic. That's all.
Okay.
All right.
No biggie.
Okay. Let's roll it.
When you're ready. 5,
4, 3. Hey, it's time for Voiceover Body Shop Tech Talk number 78.
You mean there's still new tech to talk about, Dan?
It's like it never ends. There's always something new here on Voiceover Body Shop. And we got lots of cool stuff to talk about tonight. If you've got a question for us about voiceover technology, something that's way over your head or way under your head, if there's something you want to know about technology, about how to record properly, all the things that go into trying to record your audio, throw your question in the chat room. We will be thrilled to answer your question and get you the right answer. So that's really important. So go into the chat room and go do that. Anyway, we're going to talk. We've got an interview tonight, or at least a teaser of an interview.
A good 8 minutes of the interview. It's a very long interview.
Yeah,
but it's about a studio. It's a studio log. You're going to learn about what went into designing and building a very pretty high, impressive home studio.
I just like it because he has a bathroom. Anyway, all that and more on VoiceOver Body Shop coming up right now. It's time for Tech Talk.
From the outer reaches, they came, bearing the knowledge of what it takes to properly record your voiceover audio. And together, from the center of the VO universe, they bring it to you now. George Whittam, the engineer to the VO stars, a Virginia Tech grad with the skills to build, set up, and maintain the professional VO studios of the biggest names in VO today. And you, Dan Leonard, the voiceover home studio master, a professional voice talent with the knowledge and experience to help you create a professional sounding home VO studio. And each week, they allow you into their world, making the complex simple, debunking the myths of what it takes to create great sounding audio, answering your questions, showing you the latest and greatest in VO tech, and having a dandy time doing it. Welcome to VoiceOver Body Shop Tech Talk.
VoiceOver Body Shop Tech Talk is brought to you by VoiceOverEssentials.com, home of Harlan Hogan signature products, Source Elements, remote studio connections for everyone, VoiceActorWebsites.com, where your VO website isn't a pain in the butt, VOHeroes.com, become a hero to your clients with award-winning voiceover training, J. Michael Collins Demos, when quality matters, and VoiceOver Extra, your daily resource for VO success.
And now, live to drive from their super secret clubhouse and studio in Sherman Oaks, California, here are the guys.
Well, hello there. I'm Dan Leonard.
And I'm George Whittam.
And this is VoiceOver
Body Shop,
or VO BS. Tech Talk. Tech Talk. Tech Talk.
Tech Talk.
Tech Talk. See, now I got to put Holman's thing on this.
Yeah.
So then,
I'll fly that into you.
Yeah, thank you. That would help a whole lot. Well, we're here to talk about home voiceover studios. And, I was thinking about this the other day, George, that, there's a lot of people trying to get into voiceover. And we talk to them every day.
Now more than ever.
More than ever. Last week we were talking about audio drama. Now we're going to have all these people wanting to get into audio drama. And people don't understand the simple little basic stuff that allows us to be voice actors online, and that's the ability to record properly. It's not as hard as it seems, but people tend to think that I've got to get the most expensive microphone, I've got to get the most expensive booth, I've got to spend thousands and thousands of dollars to make myself sound great. Well, we'll tell you, the idea is not to make you sound great. It's to make you sound like you and nothing else. Because, the most important thing is that if everybody keeps talking about broadcast quality. And what is broadcast quality? Well, it doesn't mean anything anymore. It simply means that your audio doesn't sound bad.
It means your audio is good enough to get hired.
Right, exactly. And if nobody's complaining, it's broadcast quality.
Right.
Essentially, there's the idea that there's your voice and then there's everything else. Mm-hmm. You want to eliminate the everything else, which is, outside noise, reflection of your voice, the sound of your computer fan, all those sorts of things. You can get rid of that. But it's more important that you physically set up your environment right and you know how to use your equipment. And another point, you don't buy great equipment to get work. You work to get great equipment. And once you have any equipment, if you need to know how to use it, there's only a couple of places you can go. I mean, some people can tell you that it's like, okay, well, you could use this great mic or you could use this, channel strip. And, everybody's an expert in one studio, their own. George and I have literally been doing this over 30 years combined. We've seen everything. At least we think we've seen everything until we see something new. And go,
when they start saying we need to record voice actors with a 5-channel microphone array, we'll know things are changing.
Yeah. And I'm sure it's done somewhere for some Disney film or something. But if you want real proper instruction on how to do it right, you got to talk to the guys that actually know it inside out, backwards, upside down, and sideways. And that would be Mr. Whittam and myself. And we don't say it because we're egotistical. We say it because this is what we do. And we know what it's supposed to sound like. The acronym?
Whistle.
What it's supposed to sound like. Right. So if you would like to work with Mr. Whittam, who has an extensive website and lots of videos and lots of stuff, where would they go?
They would go over to georgethe.tech. And if you're booking a service, use my coupon code VOBSFan2020 for 20% off. That will get you a discount on anything that's 2022. Thank you.
I've ruined a couple of checks already.
I appreciate it. 2022, and you get 20% off, and that is going to work for webinars, anything that's scheduled, webinars, support sessions, things like that. But that's all over at georgethe.tech, and all of our services are there. Yes, it's a bit of a mess. It's a very wordy website. Just take your time, look through the menu, and if you go, my eyes are rolling, there's too many, don't worry, too many options, just contact us, and we'll steer you in the right direction for what service that you might need. So don't freak out, okay? But if you have a different idea about tech support, maybe you want to try my buddy. That's him over there, Dan.
Oh, yeah.
Over at
homevoiceoverstudio.com. And, I love working with people who like to ask lots of questions because I ask even more. To me, it's very, very important. Just being a voice actor itself is pretty difficult because you got to be a good voice actor, and then you have to learn how to record properly and all those sorts of things. But mostly I ask, how does this affect your lifestyle? How can we create a space that is not going to interfere with the rest of your life, because it is going to be your private space to go do what you need to do to be a voice actor? And so I ask a lot of questions like that. Where is the best place to record in your home or your apartment or your backyard? I've done it. So it can be done back there. All you have to do is contact me. If you have a studio set up and you want a consultation on how to use it better, first I need to hear what it sounds like. And I have my specimen collection cup over at homevoiceoverstudio.com. If you scroll to the bottom of the page, it'll soon be at the top of the page. We're almost ready to go live with that. But you click on that, it's a Dropbox, and for $25, I will be happy to do a very thorough analysis of your audio. If there are shortcomings to it, if there are problems, I will explain them. If it sounds great, I'm going to say, sounds great. But of course you can always ask follow-up questions on that as well, which is really important. So go on over to homevoiceoverstudio.com and contact me there. Okay, it's time for, and in progress, George's tech update for this week.
I'm always finding more I'm like, I should talk about that. I don't want to forget that.
But first we actually did a package this afternoon.
We did, on location, no less. We got to head over to a client of mine, Ben Pronsky, who runs the correct me if I say it wrong.
Voice Actors Network.
Actors Network, is a voice actor of his own right, who designed I helped design a studio into his garage, but it has some particular issues that we had to sort out. So we shot a very long video, a long interview. I cut together a short version of it to show you guys right now. And if you want to see the full thing later, it's going to be on my website, and we'll link it onto the Facebook and for VOBS, so you don't miss the long cut. But anyway, Sue, let's check out that little package. It should be sitting there ready to go.
For VOBS. I am at a client studio that I've worked with for a couple of years now to get the perfect home studio situation built, and perhaps a less than perfect location. and maybe in a minute you'll see what I mean. So you see there's a bit of a problem with this location.
Just a bit.
You guys work with a little airline like Southwest.
Yeah, they're a lot louder.
But it doesn't matter now, right, Ben?
Not at all. Not at all.
That's
It's
good.
a beautiful thing. That's nothing. The freight airliners are the worst.
Like the FedEx and
Yeah,
stuff?
the FedEx and FedEx and UPS.
7:30 every day.
Yeah.
Right after Jeopardy.
Oh, I have Southwest schedule memorized. I got it down.
It's a 2-car garage, right?
A 2-car garage.
Just a standard 2-car garage.
Come on in.
Let's take a look. It's really comfy in here. This is an ADU. In the booth, doing what he does.
Can you hear me? How about I give you some venom?
Peter Parker! I will destroy you, Peter!
These doors were custom made for the space overseas.
Yeah. In Indonesia.
In Indonesia.
Yeah.
So only the finest teak.
Right.
Look at that. Look at that air gap. Isn't that
That's-
freaking crazy?
That's a 1.5 inch gap all the way around. And that was the big thing is, what we learned was the level of low end frequency that we were dealing with, we had to truly decouple. And
Oh yeah. So this is a completely decoupled construction. It's
All-
channel strips and all that.
Technically, the only coupling would be this piece of concrete right here.
Right.
This is it's not a cut slab, which some studios do.
Yeah,
Right.
concrete doesn't really carry sound very
Not too
well.
much. Really
Right.
low stuff.
So, and then all of this is hardwired except for my Bluetooth mouse. So it's all connected directly to Ethernet on the outside of the booth.
Yeah, hardwired is the way to go.
Yeah.
It's
And this size triad orbit was perfect for it because the booth is only 5x6, so it's not a huge booth.
No, but it's
I mean,
perfect size.
It's a good size though.
Yeah.
It'll fit
Plenty
two
of
people.
room for a chair.
I've been doing some podcast recording. People are using the space to do podcasts in here, and it's
Yeah.
comfortable with 2 tall chairs. And
Yeah.
I've got the 4073 directional here, and I've got the TLM 103. So
Yeah.
Everything was custom made obviously to fit in the space.
Right.
The table was cut. Everything was drawn and
Yeah.
measured and agonized over. Every square inch of this place
Yeah.
was agonized over.
The big thing is that instead of just going with standard like 24 by panels, your recommendation, George, was to just cover the walls with panels. And like this one, for example, is just one large panel with Rockwell
Monolithic
insulation, and and then the other big thing, obviously, is that we have an ERV system in the closet outside that's pumping fresh air from outside into this space. So we have the central air, and in addition, we have the ERV that's pumping fresh air in, which is
That's a big deal.
Awesome.
Not everybody,
Yeah.
well, actually, most people studios don't do that.
yeah.
And not especially like a quote unquote home studio. This
Mm.
is definitely this is beyond the home studio. This is definitely next level.
Well, I mean,
But you can
know,
sit in
it's-
here and work comfortably for hours.
I do. I mean, the majority of my work is group ADR, where you're doing a movie for 8 hours. So you're literally sitting in the booth for, hours on end. But the big difference was it wasn't just for personal use because of Voice Actors Network. I wanted to be able to host like a workout group or a class here. And that was sort of the original purpose. But then when the pandemic hit, it was like, oh, right. That's not right. Yeah. They're
So
great.
we got
Hey,
4 inches,
considering.
4 inches here. We have, is it 4 inches on the ceiling?
This
or
is actually
Or
3
3 inches.
and a half. This is 6.
Oh, we got 6 on the ceiling? I
So
forgot.
6, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Is all Rockwell or
All Rockwell.
yeah?
Is that wall also 3 or 3.5? Is
3
that
and
the
a
same
half.
as this?
Yeah, all these are 3.5 on the walls,
that
and then
trap
the
up
ceiling
there.
cloud is the 6 inch.
Very nice.
But I'll tell you what, come in here and close both these doors.
Is that door?
It's very quiet. Don't think I've been in a room this quiet.
All we can hear is our tintiness.
Yeah, it's
That's
extremely
about it.
loud in here, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. Are you going to play some? Did you just Did you just watch me talking to the headphones like a microphone? Did everybody see that?
I have it on tape.
Just want to make sure. I don't know if you're hearing us. Play some music so we can hear if there's any bleed. Okay, I think he's blasting some Star Wars right now. Yeah, I know it's blasting. I can tell. I'm looking at the VU meter on the Apollo, and it is cranked. It is like blasting.
That's great.
Wow. That is good, man. So we were talking a little bit earlier. How long ago did the project start in earnest, where you were like, okay, I got a team, we're ready to go, I paid a deposit? How long ago was that, do you think?
We broke ground in October of 20. We filed for the permits in November 19, and it took almost a year to get the permits from the city of Burbank.
No, it's better than the city of Los Angeles.
Yeah. Right. But then, obviously, when the pandemic hit, it slowed everything down as far as the processing time. And then we started to run into stuff with the contractor where supplies weren't available, or, a lot of that stuff started to rear its ugly head. But yeah, October of 20 was when we actually started the construction and got things underway. So, and we were bare bones. So, yeah.
So it wasn't breaking ground, it was sledgehammering.
Demo. There was trenching because we had all the utilities, because it's not just the studio, where it's an ADU, alternate dwelling unit, and through the city, if you're going to have gas, water, electric, they had to do the trenching. We had to get the approval process along that way. So the studio, the booth, was kind of a separate entity.
So ADU is a new thing that didn't start much longer before you. I mean, it was pretty new before you chose to go the ADU route, right?
Yeah.
Which is all about a certain type of permitting, I guess, to allow you to have more residential square feet on your lot than normally permitted, so that we can get more housing in Los Angeles, right?
Yeah, it was because of the housing crisis. They started to sort of expedite the process of permitting so that there's more mother-in-laws living in the back house, I guess, instead of in the house with you, which is,
Or in Florida.
right, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so that was the little package we cut today. It goes on for a lot longer than that. If you really want to know kind of the nitty-gritty of what went into designing and building this space, check out the video. I'll get a final cut of that in the next couple of days. It'll go up on my YouTube channel, and we'll have it up on the VOBS socials, so you can't miss it. But anyway, that was fun, and I was glad Dan could join in. That made it even more fun.
It was, and we got to have lunch too. But that's besides the point. But yeah, it was nice of Ben to invite us in there. The thing is there's so many details that went into it, and the idea is you don't build this to get work. You work to get something like that, and he's been very successful and making a living doing voiceover. So it was essential. But you don't build something like that because you want to do it. You build it because you're doing it.
Yeah, later he mentioned he's been in the business on some level 17, 18 years, but as a full-time voice actor, about 8 years.
Yeah.
So there you have it.
All right.
In other news, I don't have a ton of news, but a couple of things. The Apple Mac Studio computer that I was obsessing about when it came out, and then I realized after reading reviews, talking to people that, in Facebook, like I have a Facebook group called Mac and iOS for VO. I posted about it there saying, hey, how's it going? Can you hear the fan? Because I saw some YouTuber probably trying to get clicks posting audio of the noisy fan, right? And the bottom line was that anybody that's going to be using it for anything that we in our world is going to do will keep the fans running at such a low speed, you will have no clue they're even on. Like, that's what everybody is saying. The fans are essentially silent. If you are doing heavy duty, really heavy duty video production or rendering of photogrammetry, heavy duty stuff, maybe then the fans might be audible. But my contact said, yeah, we were doing some 4K, uncompressed video editing, and we thought we were going to make it break a sweat. Nah, not even close. It's a seriously powerful computer. I still contend that any of you who watch the show who are into voiceover and really just want your next studio computer, the Mac Mini M1 is and I would get the 16 gigs of RAM, the memory upgrade, which you have to wait a little while to get that. It's absolutely worth waiting for that extra bit of memory. It does help. You're going to be very happy. Mine and Dan as well we've just had excellent experiences, very quiet computers, drama free. So anyway, if you get the studio, it's bragging rights, right? And if you wait until June, or I think it's that's the next Worldwide Developers Conference, and you buy whatever the next Mac Pro is, well, touch you.
Yeah, and it takes up a little bit more space than a Mac Mini.
Yeah, it's like a double stack, triple stack Oreo version of the Mac Mini, right? Same exact footprint. Other things, Universal Audio has realized that there's a bigger market out there for people that don't want to buy the hardware and just want to use any old audio interface. So they finally decided that they'll license their plugins without their hardware, and it's called Spark. Who is this for? Most of you, not really. So, but if you're already bought into the Apollo Sphere, a Universal Audio UAD plugin world, an API Vision channel strip, or different plugins that you rely on for your sound as part of your life, then maybe you want Spark so that you can take your MicPort Pro on the road, a little tiny MicPort Pro instead of a big old Apollo, and still have the same plugin chain with you. Okay, that's who it's for. It's really not that big a deal, but it's kind of the thing that's created a little bit of a buzz in the Universal Audio users groups, so I thought you guys should know about it. And another plugin news, and the last thing, is we did an interview on the Pro Audio Suite podcast of a company called GPU Audio, and their website is gpu.audio. And this is the geekiest of the geeky stuff, right? So this is creating platforms for recording and processing audio that do all the processing on the GPU, not the CPU. The CPU is what's always done that work on all of our computers. But there's all these extra parts on the computer whose job is typically for graphics. So these guys are saying, what about taking advantage of all that hardware and putting it to use for audio? So it's very bleeding edge. It's really, and right now it's really a PC platform thing. But what they're saying is you could have a PC in your studio that's like a server. That's where all the processing happens. And it could be plugged into your computer over a network. And you can send audio into it, and it does it incredibly low latency, like real time. And you can do incredibly heavy duty work. So this is really bleeding edge. I just thought I would bring it up because we talked about it on the podcast, and it was just really interesting to hear about. But any of you that's as fancy as tickled by the bleeding edge, extremely geeky stuff, go check out gpu.audio. One of the things I see them being able to do eventually is you could have an audio interface, like one of these, and hit a button and the noise floor goes away. Like, just goes away. Non-issue. The processing's happening all inside a GPU chip, and it's no latency. And it's like the magic button. That's what's going to be happening, I think. We're going to see on the horizon. And it's clearly going to allow you to record voiceover or any audio really almost anywhere. So it's going to be interesting to see what comes.
Yeah. Well, it was interesting being over at Ben's place.
Yeah.
One, because, man, those planes are loud as they go over there. Why anyone would live there? Why? Because they got the house for a great price.
It's a bargain of a place. And hey, I don't own a house. Hey, I'm still renting. So it's pretty odd. I mean, I thought he was crazy too. Believe me. Every Zoom meeting we'd have and we'd be talking, he'd be sitting in that empty garage, and we were interrupted every few minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it came out okay.
Yeah. And I was pretty impressed. People just need to understand that. One quick comment.
Mm-hmm.
The difference between, I don't know how many times I've said this, between soundproofing and acoustical treatment. They are two different physical things.
Mm-hmm.
The next person that says, I'm going to get some soundproof foam, I'm going to be nice to them, but I may use that soundproof foam to keep them from saying anything. We'll just put that in your mind the way you will. The stuff does not keep sound out. Soundproofing is what Ben did in that place, which was really expensive. But it was worth it because of where he was and the amount of work that he does. And
That's right. I mean, it would cost him a lot more money to move that house or buy a house of the equivalent amount of square footage, the amount of space in the garage, and pick a quiet neighborhood further from the air. It would have cost a hell of a lot more than probably he spent to build it. Yeah. So in the end, he might have been winning.
Yeah, one thing's for sure, he's never moving.
No, I think he's going to be there for a while.
Anyway,
Totally.
if you got a question for us on your home voiceover studio or just something in general about that, throw it in the chat room, and Jeff Holm will get that to us, and we will answer your questions right after this break, where you can hear from our wonderful sponsors here on VoiceOver Body Shop. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
You're still watching VOBS?
And now a word from Harlan Hogan and VoiceOverEssentials.com. Has this ever happened to you? Embarrassing. The washers on these booms? They're not so great at holding up your expensive microphone. And here's the answer. The adjustable boom stop is great. Easy to attach and works like a charm. No more droopy mic. It's simple, ingenious, and infinitely adjustable. The padded non-slip pouch fits almost any size boom arm. Unique double-loop webbing system for unlimited angle of the downstrap. Works with tripod and solid round bases. Light gray webbing lets you mark and repeat stand settings for each performer. It's 3 ounces of protection for your expensive microphone with free standard shipping in the continental U.S. Hold up your mic with the ABS adjustable boom stop.
It's that time of the show where we thank our lovely, wonderful, amazing sponsors, Source Elements, the creators of Source Connect, and a growing suite of audio production tools that allow producers to work remotely from their clients and their talent all over the world. And you'll hear so many new technologies coming out right now that work on web browsers and have these, clever, cute names. I'm telling you, those are all great and they're used all the time for producing podcasts and stuff. But the jobs that actually are likely going to be paying you the big money are generally using things like, and specifically, Source Connect, because it is a tool that allows the production to flow and run the way they are accustomed to. The audio flows from your mic over the internet straight into the timeline of Pro Tools, and the engineer gets to work, edit, do takes. They get to pipe in direction from the director, have the client listen in, make an edit, get approval. It all happens real time, and that's why Source Connect is part of a lot of the biggest and best paying productions. So if you feel like you're ready to be playing at that level and you're seeing that word Source Connect pop up more and more often on scripts, it's time. Head over to source-elements.com and get yourself a 15-day free trial. And if you need help getting it set up, georgethe.tech/SC, where I've got tutorials, tips, instructions, and services to get you up and running more easily. Anyway, thanks for listening. Let's get to those tech questions right after this.
Well, hello there. I bet you weren't expecting to hear some big-voiced announcer guy on your new orientation training for Snapchat, were you?
This is Virgin Radio. Well, okay, we're not that innocent.
There's jeans for wearing and there's jeans for working. Dickies, because I ain't here to look pretty.
She's a champion of progressive values, a leader for California, and a voice for America.
It's smart. It's a phone. It's a smartphone. But it's so much more. The files are ready. Don't forget to pick up the eggs. What time is hockey practice? Check out this song.
It's the end of the road for Rick.
Just you and me, Rick.
When hope is lost.
The i8 from BMW. Who said saving the planet couldn't be stylish?
Hey, it's J. Michael Collins. Bet you think I'm going to try and sell you a demo now, huh? I think they speak for themselves. But I will give you my email. It's jmichael@jmcvoiceover.com. Now, if Dan will stop waxing his mustache for a minute, we'll get back to the show.
And we're back here on VoiceOver.
Great job on that spot.
I look over. So I want that. Do that. It's great animation.
Right in the house.
Yeah, it's nice to have your own in-house production staff here. Do those sorts of things. Anyway, again, if you've got a question about your home voiceover studio, acoustics, equipment, how to use the stuff you've got, or how not to use it,
or should you buy more?
Yeah, should you buy more? We talk about that. Yeah, you could buy this, you could buy that. My opinion is always like, what's the best microphone for voiceover? Probably the one you got, unless you got something that really sucks.
SM7B.
The RE20. Yeah. Anyway. Not that we don't have these microphones, but we use them to just demonstrate how bad they are for voiceover.
Somebody sent me a clip. She's like, "Can you master this for an audiobook?" I said, "I can. I know the audio's done. I'll make it work." But man, it's so noisy. And like, let me guess. She didn't even tell me what the interface was. It was an SM7B.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't mention the interface. And it said, "I can tell you're using a Scarlett." And she wrote me back, she was using a Scarlett.
Probably said at 12 o'clock.
And it was just like the noise level the hiss was insane. So please use the right gear, everybody.
Yeah, don't use those dynamics.
Anyways.
If you got a question, throw it in the chat room right this second, and George and I will answer that question. We promise, if you're watching live. If you're not watching live, you missed your opportunity. Anyway, let's start off with Mike Max Goldberg. Go.
He says, I realize there's a bit of ambiguity regarding the Focusrite interfaces, but just wondering, is there a noticeable difference between the first generation and the third generation, the current Scarlett interfaces? Great though, thanks. Great show. Thanks for doing what you do, guys. Thanks, Mike.
Well, we appreciate that.
The Scarletts have been around forever. Which one are you holding up?
This is a first gen.
That's a first gen.
I think it's a first gen. It might be a second. Let's see.
I think that's a first gen. You know the difference? The only way I can tell the difference is the knob knurled or smooth?
The
big knob.
The big knob is smooth.
So it's a first gen.
This is a first gen.
So when you took that out of service, Dan, did you find it to be a poorly performing unit that didn't sound good?
No, because this is the unit we used for audio on the show for a good long time.
Yeah, we did actually. And so if you plugged it in today,
it would still work.
Function, right?
It would function fine.
Yeah. So I think there's actually things I prefer about the first gen. I like that it has actual physical switches that when you turn them on, stay in that position.
Right.
The new one has a phantom power push button that you have to push and engage. And if you forget, it will be off. Yes, there is a fix for that. A lot of people don't know. If you install the drivers for Mac, there is a console thing that you can open and permanently set the phantom power on. So that is possible, but still software buttons instead of physical switches. Okay, so I like that when you turn something on, it stays on permanently. So I like that about the older Scarlett. But the new Scarlett is going to have better headphone level output, a little bit more gain. That's about it, right?
Well, I mean,
It's got the new one's got the air button, which almost never seems to be of help.
It's a loop back essentially, so you can play stuff off of your computer back out towards
the one I'm thinking of is the air button. That's like a tone button. When you press it, it makes it brighter sounding.
Really?
That's another thing. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, but nobody needs that. Nobody needs that.
It really don't.
It's got a monitor button on it to turn monitoring on off. The old one has a switch. I have not seen a really solid shootout like saying A/B compare them, but if you've already got a first gen and it's still working without a hitch, without a glitch, day in, day out, and you have no complaints about the noise, sound quality, or anything else, I seriously doubt you're going to find an advantage to use the new one. Yeah. If you're going to buy something new, go upstream. Go to, the next kind of level. I like the SSL2.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a nice up step from this one.
Yeah, a lot of people are using that.
What do you think is a good level up from the Scarlett series?
I was going to say the SSL2. I have not tried it myself. I mean, we did that.
I have one now. I'll bring it next time I come.
I would like to try that. We did the shootout a couple of years ago, and we replayed it once. And to me, it was like, as long as it's over $120, it's probably okay. There are ones that really suck. The real low-end Behringers. Now, Behringer makes great stuff for live
They do
audio.
make some good stuff.
But they're this low-end...
The Euphoria stuff is a little,
it's
a little noisy.
Yeah, it's really noisy.
Yeah.
And so, if you stick with the good stuff, the Yamaha, the AG3 or the AG03 or
The
A06,
Steinberg, which is their
same
cousin.
thing. Yeah, right. And, and then there's the MicPort Pro, which... Our good friend Debbie Derryberry just dropped off here in our studio. She just
It's in this
walked
box
here.
right here.
Yeah. That one works great. And she loved it because it had a limiter. And because she does animation, she has to yell at certain times. And as long as you have a limiter...
It's a safety net.
It worked really well for her. So
it's a safety net.
So she bought one.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you lending that to me so I could lend it to her so she could decide to buy one.
Are you paying attention, Mike Goodman? We have an opening for a sponsor on the show. You could fit right in here. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, we like the ones. We definitely are going to recommend the ones that have the least complex drivers, don't have a lot of console software, blah blah blah.
Plug it in and set the gain and do
Those
what
are
you do.
could be the things that you're going to mainly hear us recommend. So
absolutely,
yeah.
All right, BC has a question. It says, George,
Yes.
you mentioned EchoCell versus other absorption products requiring gloves. Does Orlex foam require gloves, or is it just my hands that get itchy handling it? I've never gotten itchy handling. It depends on what you've been laying your audio Orlex in, I suppose.
I mean, if you're talking about actual Orlex brand foam, I'd seriously doubt.
Utterly
if you
inert.
get itchy, if your hands get itchy, then you definitely have some kind of a possible allergy reaction to something in that. I've never seen that happen really.
Yeah. It happens with fiberglass and rock wool.
Definitely. You do not want to handle rock wool or fiberglass or any of that spun mineral stuff without gloves.
I wear my flight suit with gloves and taped on.
Yeah.
And a mask when I work with that stuff.
Yeah, you definitely do not. If you use any of that stuff, seal it up really well. If you're using the cotton-based stuff, you're home free. That stuff has zero toxins, and you can sleep on it. I mean, it's
or sleep in it,
which
I always
if you're
do.
desperate. But if it's made out of glass or minerals, you do not want to really handle it very much. So, EcoCell is just another It's a new eco-friendly version of like a fiberglass. I don't think it necessarily means you don't want to wear gloves. Always follow the guidelines of the manufacturer. If they say gloves and mask and goggles, then definitely do that.
Yeah. Then he asks, are there air quality issues with Orlex and other products? Other health issues to be aware of? Thanks. Well, yeah. I mean, now we've dealt with off-gassing, say, with moving blankets sometimes, and that seems to be an issue. But
some of them have they're made out of very synthetic product, that has fluorocarbons or some kind of, synthetics, and it can be stinky.
Yeah.
Some of the blankets. So keep that in mind. I always, when I'm reading reviews of them, I'm reading people's comments saying it's smelly or stinky.
Yeah.
You can air them out. You can wash them in the washing machine. Actually, believe it or not, take your freshly purchased blankets. I'm giving Rich Green credit for this one. Take them to the laundromat, put them in that huge, heavy-duty washer, and wash them. I don't know if I would do that with acoustical foam. No, I don't think that'd be good. I don't think it would hold up to that.
No, probably not.
But the best quality products are very low VOC or no VOC, which is the volatile organic compounds. And you're going to have very little issues with almost any of the modern products coming out. And the stuff that's made with cotton has none of it. The stuff made out of PET, the plastic recycled that actually ends up looking like felt, has absolutely no VOCs and any odor, and you can handle it. It's great stuff. So we're getting into a post chemical VOC world, or at least a post off-gassing smelly world, thankfully. So that's nice to see. Other than that, just read the package, Google it, find what the results are, or at least what people are saying who own the product. And if you have any questions, obviously reach out to us about specific products.
Absolutely. All righty. TJ Mezzacapo Voiceover. Just wanted to say thanks to Dan and George for helping me with sound issues I'm having from a few weeks back. Taking your advice and getting the AT 2035.
Oh, great. Okay.
Problem solved.
Oh, it's an awesome value microphone. It really is. I've never heard one sound bad. Let's just put it that way. It may not be the best mic you can buy, but for the price, it is an excellent value. So I'm glad you found it worked out for you.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what the issue was. He sent us some audio, and I'm like, you're using a crappy mic. No, it was an AT 2020. That's why.
Oh, yeah.
It was an AT 20 USB. Now,
boy, they are so close in price, but the 2035 is a whole different class.
Yeah, it's about $40-$50 more for the 2035.
But he was on the USB version?
I think he was on the AT 2020 USB. Yeah.
The newest edition might be pretty good. I don't remember, but the original ones were pretty hissy.
Yeah. I think it's time to do a USB mic shootout.
Oh, it's time for that again.
Yeah,
we haven't done that in years.
We haven't done a USB mic shootout. I mean, we've done the interface shootout.
We did. Didn't we do it at WovoCon in Vegas?
We did it. We did a mic shootout there too.
We did a USB mic shootout in a whisper room.
Yeah. Well, there were a couple of different mics. We used a few USB mics. We used a couple of other ones,
but it's been years. It's been like 8 years.
yeah, since we did
things
that.
Things have evolved.
Yeah. So I think there's some really good USB mics out there.
There are.
The Epigee mics are all really good, and and people who are like, I want something that's portable. I'm like, well, here, this is the answer. It'll do everything you want.
Rode's doing some interesting stuff. Even that mic right there has USB capabilities.
Oh yes, this guy, the
Video Mic Go 2.
Go 2. This is great. We were actually using this afternoon with the Joe Cipriano Steadicam. Yeah, and it's a great little mic, and it works with your iPhone. Now, the only drawback to it is that it requires a very specific USB cable.
Yeah, it does.
So
yeah, you have to order that from them. It doesn't come with it.
I ordered 2 just in case.
Okay, so with that cable, it's like $130. Right? How much is that cable?
That cable was $34, I think.
There you go. So it's a USB mic for about $135 if you buy the special cable.
Right.
Anyway, but they're getting more and more affordable and better sounding all the time. Grace Newton says, I'm shopping for a double wall whisper room. Uncle Roy says I'll have to treat it with Orlex and blankets. And for the initial price of that whisper room, why isn't it a one-stop shop?
Well, that's an excellent question.
That is a darn good question. One that we've been dealing with for many years.
Yeah.
Well, that is changing.
Yeah, because the fact is that people don't get the idea with a lot of these soundproof booths. They were never initially designed for voiceover.
And if they were,
there's
some brands that have that name, voice or vocal.
Right.
They weren't well acoustically designed for that job. So.
Right. So the problem is their acoustics aren't that great. They keep sound out for the most part.
Yeah, they reduce noise floor.
But because a lot of them are square or rectangular and have 90-degree angles in them, they require bass traps. They require really understanding what needs to make it not sound like you're talking in a tube.
Yep.
And you've got, and Uncle Roy is right because we told him. You can use moving blankets in there. You can use Orlex foam, which is, preferred because Orlex foam is made to do what it does. It's not there to prevent bed sores.
Right.
It really has a chemical composition that absorbs and diffuses sound the best of all that stuff.
All the foam, anyway.
Right. But there are also, other acoustic panels you can use.
Yeah, like anything with the rock wool paneling, like we were talking, like in that interview earlier with Ben, you heard the word rock wool. Boy, that stuff is incredibly effective per square foot. It's much better, in my opinion, than the foam. So that's always going to be my vote. Like if I was going to buy an $8,000 Whisper Room, I would say, give me all the money back for your foam. I'm going to put my own panels in there, and it's going to sound a lot better.
Yeah.
Now, they did just release a vocal. They finally actually have voiceover edition models of their booths.
About time.
So they've been paying attention recently.
Yeah.
And I did hear a sample from one recently, and I thought it sounded pretty good. I was actually surprised. But that's because it includes Audimute brand paneling, which isn't foam. It's actually, well, I'm not sure what it is on the inside, but it's not foam, and it actually does a much better job. It's still, your mileage may vary. And that's only in a 4x4 size, which I do not recommend going square. Yeah. Go rectangle whenever possible.
Yeah. Speaking of which,
yeah,
had a deal with the studio bricks last week. A big studio, a double-sized studio bricks.
Oh wow, custom one.
Yeah, and it, in an old apartment building in downtown Los Angeles. I mean, I think the place was a hotel at one time. Concrete floors.
Yeah.
Concrete furniture. No, not concrete furniture, but. Anyway, it was huge, and it had a 3-section roof, and they could not get the last section of the roof on. It's like, okay, so pull it off. It took 3 of us to get the roof section off and the ring that goes along the top.
Yeah.
And we're like pushing it in, and I'm like, there are hex nuts in here for a reason that hold these sections together. Loosen those up, pull it apart, poof, pops right into place.
How about that?
And then tighten it back up, and it was airtight. So,
weren't they glad you came to them?
That's what they pay me for. I ain't driving all the way downtown onto Wilshire Boulevard for nothing. Darn straight.
Yeah, every product like this has to be assembled properly. They might make you think that they're super easy, but the devil's in the details. Follow the instructions, do it in the right order. And there's sometimes tricks involved.
Yeah, and the floor wasn't quite level, so there. It was leveled out,
okay.
But there are little tiny gaps where you might see the dowels and stuff.
Yeah,
but it didn't. It didn't. If you don't see light coming through it,
I have
fine.
Very rarely, even if you see a small gap on the outside, it rarely ever translates to a noise leak. So.
All righty. A question from Jeff Holman. I'm
very
not sure if
good.
we're allowed to discuss this, but
well, actually, it's in the video.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's not in the
All right.
edit you saw, but in the full edit,
right?
You'll be finding that out. But it was definitely north of 100,000.
Yeah. How much did it cost to build? Well, that was
we don't
that
know
was
what
for the whole ADU.
That was for the whole ADU.
That
like
was
everything.
kitchen, bathroom.
Yes.
Air conditioning, all the things that went into it. The booth itself,
It's kind of hard to say. The doors alone were like $4,000.
Right.
For that pair of doors. So, that was a big part of it. The glass, but the rest of it was just tons of labor and time and, of assembling. He said to buy a studio brick of equivalent size would have actually, from what he thought, was going to be more costly than building it. So, and that might be true for that price, for that size range, maybe. It depends where you live, depends on how much you're paying for labor, but
right.
But it's certainly more soundproof than any studio brick could possibly ever pull off because the walls are 10 inches thick, 1.5 inch air gap.
Right.
It is a serious piece of equipment.
Right. And he had it built into the wall. It became part of the structure.
Oh yeah, it looks
really
like
nice.
it's just all part of the room. It just belongs there, but it's separate.
Right. Yeah. And then there's some of us that bought a house that had a booth in it. So it helps.
Someday I could be so lucky.
Yeah.
I'll try.
All righty. TJ Metzacapo asks, you guys said my interference hiss was likely a grounding problem. What's the best way to set the cables to avoid this issue? Well, a grounding problem. Well, the mic you've got, the one you're using today, it's a K47.
This is the kit mic.
Yeah, the kit mic that
kit
I
mic
built.
you built. Yeah.
And turned it on and went, holy crap, it works. That was really something. very intricate soldering with that.
Yeah.
I think the point is that tube mics, and what I mean by tube, not because they have a tube in them, but because they are tube shaped, which is why they're called tube mics. And sometimes they can get loose. And as long as you tighten things down really tight, that makes sure that the grounding within the microphone, because it's all connected through, the ground wire, which is the number 3 on the. Is number 3 or number 1 the ground?
I think 1 is ground, 2
1 and
is
2 are the
minus,
2
3 is
phases.
plus, or something like that. Right.
But yeah, it's if that's loose or you will get hissing, you will get buzzing. But hissing generally is an indication that you're not recording loud enough and you're adding more gain.
Or you have a very low output mic, you
right,
know, or the mic itself is damaged or not functioning correctly. So
like
the
an
output...
SM7B or an RE20.
An SM7B is an amazing mic for being yelled into.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
That's what that mic's really, really good at, which is what jocks do on the radio.
Right.
Joe Rogan does on his podcast, and, heavy metal singers do in the studio. That's what that mic's good for.
Exactly.
Other than that, in terms of other things you can try, it's a very long troubleshooting process sometimes because it depends on how much gear you have. If you have a very simple setup with a mic, a USB interface, and a computer, that troubleshooting takes a lot less time because there's fewer things to swap out. But you essentially have to just swap things out one by one. You have to have a duplicate of everything to try and figure out what is the one thing that's causing the noise. That's really what it comes down to.
Right.
That's the process that I go through one by one.
Right. If you look in my closet, there's a pile of cables hanging there.
Some of them should probably be thrown away.
Maybe, but they're holding on to other cables, making sure that those cables don't get lost.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the important thing.
He said he tightened his MT1 mic and it's still hissing.
Well, it's not hissing then.
I would definitely reach out to the manufacturer, which in that case happens to be Rode. I would change if you've already changed every other variable and already swapped out every other thing, it's probably the mic. And that's not a mic known for hissing.
No.
NT1 is known for being very quiet.
Right.
Very, very quiet.
Yeah. But it also has, although their output has improved lately.
Yeah.
I think they improved the output on the NT1.
Oh, maybe. Was it real? It was a little lower than other mics.
Right. I mean, you really had to push the gain on it.
Yeah.
But if it depends on the interface. Does the interface have enough gain? The preamp and the interface. So
I think it works fine with like a Scarlett. I don't know if I've ever had any trouble.
I haven't. So
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. BC has a question based on something we were talking about. The SSL2, which is an interface, included a vocal strip 2 plugin, an all-in-one compander, de-esser, deplosive, and 3-band EQ. Could I use this in a stack for voiceover editions, or does its all-in-one nature limit me? Interesting thought. If you're going to put all that stuff in there, I would think that they would include some variables.
Yeah, I mean, if they're all just on-off switches, I would be very wary of its usefulness because an on-off switch processor rarely is a good one, unless it's just a simple limiter like what's in the MicPort Pro. Generally, there's a lot of parameters that need to be adjusted. Now, I'm taking a quick Google search because I have not yet amazingly played with the Vocal Strip 2 plugin. I really haven't. And it looks like it has potential to be very useful. It's got a parametric equalizer. It's got, like you said, a deploser, de-esser. If you are popping the mic so often, you need a plug-in to fix it.
You need to study your mic technique a little bit,
because
I can go Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers for the next 6 years, and I'm not going to get a plosive. And you see no pop screen here.
There's no pop screen here either. It's just in the right place, right?
Right.
It's got a compander, which is a weird word for a compressor and expander. These are all tools that, when used properly by an engineer who knows how to set them and configure them, can give you a great result. Otherwise, I can use the tools included with any DAW and get pretty much all the same results. So It could be good. Maybe one of these days I'll play with it. I do have a SSL2 at home, so I guess that means I have a license to use this $200 plugin. So I'll give it a shot and see what I think.
Yeah. Well, guess what? Another hour of life has gone by, but your voiceover tech questions have been answered.
And enjoyed.
And thoroughly enjoyed, because as you can see, when George and I get questions, it makes our day, because that's what we're all about.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to take a quick break here, and we will be back to wrap things up for a couple of weeks right after these messages.
Yeah, hi, this is Carlos Alazraki, the voice of Rocco, and you're watching Voiceover Body Shop.
Hey there, I'm David H. Lawrence, the 17th, and with my company VO Heroes and my team of coaches and my community of voiceover talent, we guide voiceover actors along their journey. And you may be watching VOBS here and not nearly as far along as many of the other people who are watching. You may not even have started yet. And we actually specialize in helping you do just that. So if you're watching all the stuff going on here on VOBS and going, I have no idea what they're talking about, I don't know, but I really want to do this, I'd really like to help you. Please go to voheroes.com/start. That's voheroes.com/start. And you can take our Getting Started in Voiceover class, which tells you everything you need to get started as a voice talent. And I'd love to hold your hand along the way and help you with that journey. Again, voheroes.com/start. That's voheroes.com/start.
In these modern times, every business needs a website. When you need a website for your voice acting business, there's only one place to go. Like the name says, voiceactorwebsites.com. Their experience in this niche webmaster market gives them the ability to quickly and easily get you from concept to live online in a much shorter time. When you contact voiceactorwebsites.com, their team of experts and designers really get to know you and what your needs are. They work with you to highlight what you do. Then they create an easily navigable website for your potential clients to get the big picture of who you are and how your voice is the one for them. Plus, VoiceActorWebsites.com has other great resources, like their practice script library and other resources to help your voiceover career flourish. Don't try it yourself. Go with the pros. VoiceActorWebsites.com, where your VO website shouldn't be a pain in the you-know-what.
Before time began, there was VOBS.TV. Watch or else.
And we're back to say goodbye. Well, next week, we're going to run an interview that we did, a longer version of the interview that we did with Ben earlier in the show, so you can hear all of the details of what went into that construction, which was quite a bit. But I'm going to be gone for a couple of weeks, so we're going to be gone for a couple of weeks, but we're going to start up again on May 23rd. We will be live. But look, there are so many episodes that you could possibly be watching if you missed them.
Mm-hmm.
Go find them. You can watch anything you want, even the old ones, like from
Get a laugh.
Yeah,
watch stuff on the first
from
season.
2011,
of
2012.
Type EWABS into YouTube and start to laugh.
It's all there. Anyway, who are our donors this week? Well, we'll start off with Jonathan Grant,
Christopher Epperson,
Sarah Borges,
Philip Sapir,
Tom Pinto,
Shelley Avellino,
George Whittam, your
Brian,
dad,
that's right, Brian Page,
Patty Gibbons,
Rob Ryder,
Greg Thomas,
hey, Dr. Voice Nathan,
Antland Productions,
that's Uncle Roy, Shauna Pennington Baird,
Martha Kahn,
Don Griffith,
Trey Mosley,
Diana Birdsall,
and Sandra Manwiller.
Excellent.
All righty.
You ever notice how when you do the award shows and they read names, they don't do the Dr. Voice, George Whittam. They always go, George Whittam,
Dr. Voice,
Brian Page.
Right.
Why is that?
That's because it sounds nice and formal.
I guess so.
I guess. Anyway, again, if you need help with your home voiceover studio, that's what we're here for. You want to work with me? Go on over to homevoiceoverstudio.com. She's so sharp. And if you want to work with George, you go to
georgethe.tech. And we've got a webinar coming up in May for Audacity. And we have our tech support over there and a coupon code VOBS Fan 2022, which will get you 20% off the next service. You get to use it once. It's a pretty big discount, but if you book any services on the site, you can use that. It's for the scheduled services only.
Alrighty. Well, we need to thank our sponsors like Harlan Hogan's VoiceOver Essentials,
VoiceOver Extra,
Source Elements,
VOHeroes.com,
VoiceActorWebsites.com, and JMC Demos. Thanks again to Jeff Holman for a great job in the chat room tonight. As always, Sue Merlino for doing it from home and still making it look like she's just sitting here with us. And we really appreciate that. And, of course, Lee Pinney for just simply being Lee Pinney. He knows what that means. And the rest of you are going, what? Like the last 7 years. Like, what? Who's this Lee Pinney? Well, he's got to come visit us and stick his face in here one of these days. Anyway, that's going to do it for us this week. Again, if you've got a question for us, you can write to us at theguys@vobs.tv, and we'll put it in the front of the queue, as opposed to the people who are calling during the show.
No, you'll be the first one we answer.
That's right, because it's there in the email. Anyway. But that's important. So ask your questions, but we're thrilled to help you out with your home voiceover studio. But, it always amazes me that people are like, it's got to sound great. It's got to be right. But the bottom line is, if it sounds good,
it is good.
I'm Dan Leonard.
And I'm George Whittam.
And this is VoiceOver
Body Shop,
or VOBS. Tech Talk. Tech Talk. Tech Talk. Tech Talk. See you in a couple of weeks, everybody. Have a good one. Bonjour.